Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to bring you another betting pick and prediction video in college football. Kicking off week 3 of the college football season. In this video, I'm talking Colorado Buffaloes visiting the Houston Cougars. I'm now 5-5 ATS, coming off a 3-1 weekend. This 3-1 week 2 in college football. Should have went 4-0. Lane Kiffin's up 10, calls a timeout with 13 seconds left, so Kentucky can kick a field goal. Make it make sense. Rob me of a 4-0 weekend. But anyways, we press on. Colorado, Houston. So in this game, maybe surprising to some, the Houston Cougars are actually the favorite in this game. They're currently favored by 6. This opened at 2.5 and then went up to 6. And it jumped quick too. It went from 2.5 to 4.5 quick. So that means, if you in the betting world, the sharps must have jumped right into it, grabbed that 2.5 threes quickly, and now the public's got into it and it's creeped up to 6 now. Why the line movement? Well, it could be because Colorado is now going to be led by Cody Staub, their third-string quarterback. Corey Staub, their third-string quarterback, came off the bench against Delaware in the last game. He went 7 for 10, 157, 2 touchdowns, was cooking off the bench. But, he's a third-string quarterback. That probably makes a lot of people kind of wary, kind of like, I don't know about this. I don't know about the quarterback situation for the Colorado Buffaloes. And then he's got a decent offensive line blocking for him. Colorado the last 2 years when Shedeur was the quarterback, a lot of pass blocking issues. But Jordan Seaton, sophomore this year at left tackle, he's looking elite. And the rest of the O-line is looking pretty solid as well. These guys are a lot better in pass protection this year than they have been in recent years. And I could call him Corey Staub, my bad, Ryan Staub. But Ryan Staub's got a decent O-line blocking for him. Now, it should be noted at wide receiver, Omarion Miller is questionable for this game. He missed the Delaware game. At the time of this video, it's Tuesday, 3 p.m. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I want to get this video out there early. Sometimes in college football, when you got a weak opponent like they had with Delaware, you hold out some of your players. The coaches like to hold out some of their players who are a little bit dinged but good enough to play in the game just to give them another week of rest. That might be what's happening here. I don't know. I'm not in the camp. I'm in the Colorado camp, but that could be what's happening here. So Omarion Miller, he may play this weekend. And then you talk of their running game. They got some balance this season. Michael Welch and Price in the backfield, both giving them different types of running styles. Welch, power, Price, speed at the running back position. And then you look at the Houston Cougars on defense. Defensively, they got a new DC, Austin Armstrong. He comes over from Florida, kind of flopped there, but maybe he's meant for the mid-major level. They haven't given up more than 53 yards passing from a quarterback in a game this season. But then again, they played Stephen F. Austin and they played Rice. So this is a big step up in competition from those two teams. And again, with their pass defense, they've picked off 3 passes. So they're looking really good in pass defense, but against poor competition. What are the results going to look like as they make a step up hosting Colorado this Friday night? Now let's take a look at the other side of the matchup. Colorado's defense against Houston's offense. Take a look at Colorado's defense. They gave up 320 rushing yards in the opener to Georgia Tech. Now, about 160 of them were to Haynes King and the quarterback. So clearly they had a problem with the mobile QB. That's not going to be the case in this one. Connor Weigman, quarterback from Houston, is a pocket passer. And they went from giving up that 320 to Georgia Tech to giving up 84 to Delaware. Now, that's obviously a big difference in level of competition. But you could also say maybe they worked on some things. Sometimes you look at week one can kind of sway you one way or the other, and make you overreact to results that you see, right? But anyways, looking at Colorado's defense, also their man coverage, pass defense metrics have been looking great. DJ McKinney back there leading the way at corner, looking like a clamp down, lockdown type corner this season. And they got a really good pass rush with Arden Walker and Keaton Wade coming off the edges. So they've got pieces on defense to really give Houston some problems. And you look at Houston, again, Connor Weigman now is the quarterback for Houston. He transfers in, used to play for Texas A&M. I believe he played for somebody. I can't even remember who he played for after Texas A&M. But he's looking for a home. He's looking for a place to be a starter. So he comes to Houston. I believe this is where he's from. And now he's the starting quarterback for the Houston Cougars. When I saw Weigman play at A&M and these other schools, one thing came to mind. Average. That's what he looked like to me. He comes to Houston, 183. He's averaging 183 yards passing against Stephen F. Austin and Rice. Now maybe you can say, oh, they went to the ground. These are pedestrian numbers. Just call it what it is. It's pedestrian numbers. And then when you talk about the ground game, well, they averaged 200 yards rushing on the ground in those two games. But the first game against Stephen F. Austin, they didn't really get off like that. I mean, they ran for 190, so I would say they got off as a team. They did against an FCS school. But Dean Connors, a starting running back, I believe was 15 for 50. When I see a starting running back average 3.3 yards a carry against an FCS school, it's alarm bells start going off. Week 2 against Rice, Dean Connors, 13 carries for 132 yards. Average 10 yards a carry. It's like, man, this man is cooking. He had a 54-yard run and a 42-yard run for touchdowns. So props to him. Big plays, right? You take those out, though, and what are we talking about here? What's that? 11 for 36? Again, not really getting it done. So is he going to hit 50-yarders every game? I don't know. Is he going to hit a 50-yarder against Colorado? We don't know. But for me, when I'm looking at this Houston Cougar offense, I don't like what I see. I see a pedestrian passing attack. I see a mediocre running attack who used a weak schedule to kind of pad their stats. It's a big step up in competition. Arden Walker, Keaton Wade, those guys are for real up front. DJ McKinney's for real on the back end. Houston's going to find it a lot harder to move the ball in this one. So, me in this game, man, I'm going against the public. I'm going against the sharps. Maybe they're seeing something I don't see. Believe what you want. But me, Colorado +6 on the road when I think Colorado's the better team. Maybe they don't believe in Staub at quarterback. We're going to see. But 6 points on the road with a team that I think is the better team, I'm going to go ahead and take the Buffalo. So give me 6. That's my first bet for week 3. But anyways, if you like the content, like, comment, subscribe. If you agree, disagree, let me know. And you're going to see more videos for week 3 coming up later this week. Take care.
Reps in. Life is walking through the mud, I'm battle tested.